Preacher 357 here, coming to you here from the range with a pump action 22, the Rossi Gallery Gun. I put this on my Facebook page when I got it the other day when I got home with it, but I had not really been able to shoot it at that time. But I've been really excited to try this out because I'd seen it in the stores here lately, and it seemed like a nice little gun for plinking, and I thought I would enjoy it. I've never had a pump action 22 before. As common as they were at one time, you know, I've just never had one. And I don't even know if I'd ever even shot one. Maybe. I really don't know. But I said, you know, I'd really like to get one of those. And so I came across one at a local store here and picked it up, got it home, and wanted to make a video, but unfortunately things have not been working out in my favor when it comes to making videos here lately, and that's why it's been so long since I've posted one. First off, my tractor died, and so I had to spend a lot of time fixing that. I had some other things going on as well, and then the weather was not cooperating, so you know, it's been like 9 or 10 days I think since I've been able to get a video up. But it's not because I haven't wanted to, it's just there's been a lot of things in the way. It took me pretty much 3 days of all the free time I had just to repair the tractor. But it's up and going, and I got some mowing and cutting done today. So, but now my weed eater has died on me, broken. So it's always something, you know, it's always something. But that'll be an easy fix, I believe. But I have the Rossi Gallery Gun here, and this gun here is modeled, they say, after the 1890s Winchester Gallery Gun, which would eventually, I think, become the Model 62. And there's a lot of similarities, but there's some differences as well. For one, it's got a side ejection port, which I don't believe the original Winchesters had a side ejection port, but this one does. And there's some obvious differences. It's a little more modern in construction, the way it looks. These big screws on there, which make it look very utilitarian, I guess, for lack of a better term. It's kind of got the wood on it and the blued look to kind of give it a classic look, but at the same time, when you really get up close to it and look at it, the lines of it are really more modern in appearance. You know, you're not going to mistake this for a Winchester. Now, at one time, I think Rossi actually made a Model 62, which was an exact replica of a Winchester 62, just like they make the 92s still, which are replicas basically of the Winchester 92s. But I guess they have switched over to this gallery model now, which is, I don't think they even call this a Model 62 anymore. So here it is. It does have this release here for the slide for the pump that's in the front of the trigger guard here, which is, it's easy to reach. But the problem I found with this is, one thing you have to be aware of, you have to be cognizant of this, is that if you grab the gun like you normally would to reach up there, the hammer's going to come back on you, and also the bolt's going to come out and hit you. So you're going to tear your hand up if you're not careful. You have to make sure to reach up there and get your hand out of the way when you release the pump. But not that big a deal, but that's just something I noticed there on it. Luckily, I didn't find out the hard way. It was something I realized before I hurt myself, which is surprising because normally I just hurt myself and then learn from that. That's kind of the way I am. That's the way I learn. The school of hard knocks, self-inflicted hard knocks usually. But anyway, here is this Rossi Gallery Gun. Now, I tried to make a video last night, and it started raining on me again, so I wasn't able to finish really the video and get it the way I wanted. But in full disclosure, there's another reason why I didn't continue with that video, and the reason I'm redoing this is because I was having some issues with this gun. I was having some failures. It was having some, I don't even want to call them light primer strikes, because they weren't even primer strikes. I mean, you can't even tell that the round had even been impacted at all. The rim was just pristine. So I'm not sure what was going on with that exactly. I lubed it up a little bit, took it apart, couldn't find anything wrong with it. I thought I would find something wrong with the firing pin or something, but I couldn't find anything that stood out as being a problem. So I'm going to try it again. The other thing I had an issue with was the sights were pretty well off. I mean, it was shooting high and to the right pretty well. So I was really having to use a lot of Kentucky windage to hit with, which meant I wasn't hitting very well with a little 22. And that's kind of the whole point of these little 22s, is to be able to plink, right? To be able to hit things with them. Like that little Marlin Model 60 I've got, it just feels like I can hit anything I aim at. And I really want this gun to be that way as well. So I've adjusted the sights a little bit and kind of sighted it in. I think it's shooting fairly well where I want it to shoot. So maybe that'll make for a little bit better shooting today than I had in the first video I tried to make. And I haven't really figured out what the problem is. I've run across that. I did a little bit of shooting when I was sighting this in earlier. And I ran across that problem with the light primer strikes, no primer strikes, or whatever again. And the only thing I can think of is that it may be a case where if I'm not racking the slide hard enough, that it's not fully going into battery, that it's going into battery far enough that you can't really tell and you can't force it in anymore just by pushing on it. But maybe it's got just a little bit of play in it. And when the hammer strikes that firing pin, there's enough give that it's not producing enough energy with the firing pin in order to impact the rim and actually set it off. And so it may be hitting the rim, just not with enough force to do anything, because the bolt may be actually moving a little bit. You may be going home just a tad bit more, which is absorbing some of that energy. That's all I can think of. So I'm going to try to rack this thing really hard. And I mean, I wasn't racking it really soft. It wasn't like I was just taking my time, but I ran another magazine of some of the ammo that I was having issue with, and that I knew I'd had issues with. And I racked it really hard and didn't have a single failure. So that may be what it is. I'm just not sure. It's kind of had me dumbfounded there, but I think that may be the problem. So I'm going to run it real hard on the action here and see if that fixes the problem. I'm also going to run 3 different types of ammo just to rule that out as well. I've shot some CCI mini mags and didn't have any failures with that, but it just may be coincidence. And I've got some Aguila. I had 1 failure with that. And then I was running some Federal Bulk Pack 36 grain. Now the other 2 are 40 grain. The Federal Bulk Pack 36 grain is what I had several failures with yesterday. So that is pretty much the long and the short of it. So we just need to get into a little bit of shooting now. But before we do that, don't forget to check out the description of the video. I've got a link there for a discounted membership to the GOA, the hat I've got on here. Really nice hat here. The Gun Owners of America are doing some good work for our gun rights. They're fighting for our gun rights all across the country, but also in your individual state. They're fighting for our rights here in Tennessee. And there's a discounted link there that they provided. I don't get any kickbacks from that. I'm just supporting them because I support their cause. I'm a life member and I believe in what they do. If you're a resident of Tennessee, also there's a link there for the Tennessee Firearms Association. That's our state organization run by volunteers. These guys don't get paid. They just believe in the cause, and they're donating their time for that cause. And they're doing good work, but we need money to get the work done. Unfortunately, in this life, nothing's free, and politicians especially. Elections are expensive. So if you would join up with the TFA if you're a resident of Tennessee as well. So let's get into a little bit of shooting. But first off, I am going to tighten up this pump here. I noticed the other side had gotten a little loose yesterday, and this one was just a tad bit loose. Might have to throw a little Loctite on it at some point if that becomes a problem. But all right, let's load her up here. Of course, it's fed from a tube magazine in the front. There's no side loading gate on these. It's just like even the Marlin Model 60 is a tube fed. This is kind of the common thing. It's what you see with the Henrys, and a lot of your 22s are that way. A lot of your bigger bores would have a side loading gate, especially like the Marlins. But with your 22s, the tubular magazine loading from the front here is kind of a standard. Now, obviously, there are also rifles like the Ruger 1022 that use a box magazine. But you know, the tube magazine works fine. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm gonna run some of this lead round Aguila here first. They're super extra, it's called, and we'll see what happens with it. And I'll try to remember to run the slide really hard, just to make sure that it's slammed home as hard as it can be, so there's no doubt that I'm fully in battery, and see if we have any issues with it whatsoever in that case. This thing holds 15 rounds in the tube magazine. My Model 60 I think holds 14, though originally the Model 60 I think held 18, but they changed that in the 80s, and unfortunately I've got one of the first years they came out with that had the less capacity magazine, because obviously going to 14, you know, in a 22 is going to save a lot of lives, because that 18 rounds is just way too dangerous to have 18, but 14 is a lot better. I hope you are catching my sarcasm. As David Spade said in Tommy Boy, I was laying it on pretty thick there. All right, let's, well, she's not wanting to lock in there. I'm gonna shot my rod. There we go. All right, let's put a round in here, see if we can hit anything. See if we have any issues whatsoever. I'm gonna slam her home hard. All right, let's try it here. I would miss, wouldn't I? Oh, was that the last round? Nope, I got one more. Oh, come on now. Ah! And of course I missed on the last rounds. But that's a lot better. That was a lot better. I've got it sighted in a lot better now, so I can actually hit something. Yesterday was a struggle, because from the factory right out of the box, it was shooting way off. I had to drift the front side, the rear side, I'm sorry, over to the left, and adjust the elevation as well. But it's hitting fairly well on. It's still just a hair to the right, but I'd have to really drift it a little bit further, and I don't want to do that because it's already noticeably drifted out of the dovetail on one side. So I'm going to consider that good enough. But let's run some of these mini mags now. I couldn't tell when I sighted it in that the point of impact between any of these was much different. So 36, 40 grain, lead, copper, you know, jacketed, whatever. It seemed like it was all about the same, so I don't think I'll have to make any adjustments. But I'm gonna go out there and see if I can hit this plate at 80 yards. Because that's the good thing about that Model 60. I can wear that plate out there out with that Model 60. And rifles is really what I put that plate out there for. I didn't put it out there for handguns, but once I put it out there, I had to start shooting at it. So, you know, it just is what it is. Plan on putting some more plates out there. I've got big plans, big gigantic plans. My bank account just does not match my plans yet. So if you haven't realized, guns and ammunition are expensive. They are extremely expensive. So I'm already spending a lot of money on my hobby here and on this channel. So, you know, at some point I'm going to have my plans come to fruition, but I don't know when that'll be exactly yet. But one day you'll turn on YouTube and there'll just be all kinds of plates down there. Hopefully soon. Because I've had these plans in the works for probably 6 years now. All right, I said I was going to go out here, didn't I? Started to shoot at the wrong plates. Let's go out here and see if we can hit anything. All right. Got a little bit low. I can't even hear. I can't tell if I'm hitting them or not. Maybe. I heard that one. Heard that one. I'm getting a lot of difference in velocity out of these rounds too. I can't tell what I'm doing. I heard that one. Heard that one. They offhand. So that's a good sign. I'm not having failures now, and maybe that was the issue. I was just being a little too gentle with that action, and maybe now that I'm being a little rougher with it, it's loosening up a little bit, so you're not going to have that problem anymore. So, problem solved, maybe. I guess we'll see. We'll do a little bit more shooting here. One other thing you'll notice I have on my my safety glasses, my shooting glasses here. These are prescriptions, and I'm wearing them today because I wanted to look really cool and tactical and like an operator while I was shooting this lever action 22. Now I'm wearing them because I found that I can see rifle sights better with these than I can my standard glasses. Normally I wouldn't even bother wearing safety glasses for much of anything I shoot out here unless I'm shooting a more high-powered rifle. Usually I don't worry too much about it. Sometimes I probably should, and with some of these guns, the 460 and what have you, and I just forget to get them. But I found with the rifles I can see the sights better with these because the bifocals are a little bit different in these than they are my standard glasses. They're progressive lenses, and these are bigger lenses, and so the line where the adjustments occur, it's just different. The progression is different, and so I see the sights a little better with these. It's still a blur, it's just a smaller blur than with the other glasses. So it's one of those things I'm probably going to have to go and get some special made glasses at some point that focus me perfectly for when I'm looking at sights. So I'm sure there's some options out there, but I shoot more handguns than I do rifles. I love handguns more than rifles, even though I do like rifles. So it's not an issue that I run into that much because I use my left eye when I shoot handguns because I'm left eye dominant, and I still see the sights fairly well, with my left eye. Now there may come a time I'm not able to see very well with them. I'm not getting any younger, but at the moment I still can. But let's shoot a little bit more here. I'm blabbing too much, talking too much. We'll make a super long video with very little shooting in it. We don't want to do that. We'll make sure there's plenty of ammo going down range, bullets going down range, the sound of steel being hit preferably. That's such a soothing noise. I know all of you out there are just like me. The sound of the plinking of steel is just soothing. It's calming, it's relaxing. It's just, it's like being at home. And my wife thinks I'm crazy because, gunfire, just tears her nerves up. But it doesn't me. It's very calming to me. And I'm sure a lot of you guys who go to the range and you do that to blow off steam, and you know how much better you feel when you come away from the range, that sense of relief that you have after you've, thrown some lead. Yeah, there's just nothing like it. And a lot of times I just watch Hickok 45 and put the videos on, and I'm not even watching them. I'm just got it in the background just so I can hear that plinking sound, just so I can hear the gunfire, just because it's soothing, it's relaxing. I'm crazy, I know. Let's go out here at 35. Didn't I get one in the chamber? No, I didn't. Didn't get one in the chamber. All right. Well, that may have been a case there where I didn't Well, I didn't rack it hard enough. It's got a little bit of an impact on there. Yep, I think I may not have racked that one. I was going a little too fast and didn't rack that one hard enough. But there, I think there was an example, unless I just racked one I never even pulled the trigger on, but I think I did, didn't I? If you can see that round there. It's pretty pristine. There's not a lot to it. There's just a little bitty tiny spot right there where I think there was a slight impact. But I'm going to assume I just didn't rack the slide hard enough because I was going too fast. All right, I'm going to throw some of these 36 grainers around now. And then I'm going to let you guys go. This doesn't have to be a super long video. Overall, I'm pretty happy with this gun now. Of course, it'd be nice if I didn't have to worry about racking the slide super hard. If just sending it home was enough, but of course I'm just assuming that's the problem, that I've figured out what's happening here. And being the gun non-expert that I am, you know, I'm about 99.9% confident that I'm not sure what I'm talking about. But I think that's logical, at least. I think it at least makes a little bit of sense to assume that might be the case. I think it's, you know, reasonable conjecture. We'll put it that way. All right. I'm going to shoot over here at the plate at 80 yards one more time. Maybe hit it a time or two and then come back over here. There's one, I think. Nah, I pulled that one. I think that was low. There we go. I think I went high that time, maybe. There we go. Let's go back over here now. Am I hitting that? I can't even tell. I think I may have been going over it. Well, there's one. I don't know where it went, but I thought I was out of ammo, but I wasn't. I don't know where it went. I'll have to find it later. That's that 36 grain that I was having the most trouble with yesterday. So, I don't know. I really don't. If anybody has any ideas, you know, let me know in the comments. Maybe you've got a better idea than I do. That shouldn't be hard to do. All right. That was all of it. Well, I guess that's good enough. So, a little disappointed. I'm having a little bit of an issue with some of the rounds going off. Now, with that said, it's a 22. Having issue with rounds going off with a 22 is not unheard of. It's not a self-defense gun. I'm just out here on the range, so it's just an annoyance at most. You know, it's not a deal killer for me, but I definitely want to figure out what's going on with it. I don't think I had a single failure with the mini mags though. So maybe the mini mags just have a lot softer primer, and just any amount of impact will set them off, whereas that bolt pack Federal may have a little bit harder primer on it, and it just won't go off with just a little bit of impact. I don't know. So it might be one of those things that's just a little bit ammo sensitive because of the way it is, and I just have to run mini mags in it. You know, I've had guns like that before. They just did not like some ammo that I loved and used in every other gun, and it just wouldn't run it. You know, I've had some 9mm that were that way, but they wouldn't cycle with certain ammunition, and it was ammunition I ran in every other gun and used quite often. But just the nature of the beast, they're all different, and that's our job, is to figure it out and come out here and plink and have some fun doing it. And I appreciate you guys coming out. God bless you. Y'all take care of yourselves. We'll see you next time.